Hello, everybody. I hope you can hear me. It's 9:15, so we're going to go ahead and kick things off. Um, Thank you for joining us today. We've been getting a kick out of your chats and seeing everybody log in. We've tried to put everybody on mute just so it's a little bit less congested discussion-wise, but there is a chat feature I'll share with you in just a minute, or most of you have already found it anyway, and you can use that to send in your questions to us. I hope everybody was able to log in successfully without any significant issues. This is a new system that East is using for a lot of different features. And when we realized that there was an opportunity to do a webinar, our team jumped right on it. So this is our first, so don't judge us. But we do appreciate your feedback. Again, our team is really interested in utilizing this technology in other ways. So share what you liked, what you didn't like, what worked, what didn't, so on and so forth. And we can make improvements for the future. Okay. Well, I may share this with you. There we go. Okay, this is Jessica. I'm the events manager at East, and I have got my partners in crime with me today. I've got Melanie Ridlin, who's the Senior Director of Operations, and she is going to jump in here in a little bit. She and I are kind of tag team in this webinar. And then we've got Lainey Jennings Hall. She's the Marketing and Events Coordinator for East, and she is our moderator for today. So she's getting to see all of your questions come in, and she'll pipe in every now and then. And you know, if there's anything pertinent to the discussion at hand, she'll keep us posted on all of those. So again, we welcome questions. You should be able to see a chat button on the bottom of your screen. If you'll just click that, you should be able to choose who you want to send a question to. You can send it to the group, or you can send it to Lainey. She's, again, moderating all of that. So please flood us with your questions. Our goal for today is to try to keep the webinar to about 30 minutes plus some Q&A time. We know you guys are very busy, especially with conference being so close. So we want to keep the information concise, but we want to make sure that you get everything you need. And we are recording this webinar, so as soon as we get it wrapped up and we can tweak a few things, we will post it on the conference website and share it out with everybody. Okay, I think that's everything. All of the logistics anyway. So basically, just to reiterate, registration we've made some significant changes to that. It's gotten a complete overhaul as far as the on-site piece goes. We're super excited about our changes. We shared a lot of those with our ambassador team and our facilitators at retreat. They gave us really good feedback. We're still working through a few details, so bear with us in that front. We hope to have everything ironed out by conference, but most of what you need to know is what we're sharing today. Okay, I think we're ready just to jump right in. So our goal for today, our agenda, if you will, is we're going to talk about the overall registration goals. We're going to touch a little bit on the late fees because that's something new this year. The digital image release forms, there's an option to do that online, and we think there may be a little bit of confusion, so we want to clear that up. We'll give you a sneak peek of what the name tags are going to look like, and then Melanie's going to jump in and talk about that two-step registration process that will happen the day of conference. And then we're going to wrap it up with sharing some information and processes for if you bring or a chaperone brings a bus group of kids to conference, what they need to do to have the most efficient, quick registration possible. Okay, so our goals for registration are pretty simple. We want to track every single person that comes through those doors. We want them to register because we want to know who's there and why they're there for a number of reasons. To be quite honest, our most important is security. So that's why every person who comes to conference is going to get a name tag on one of our conference lanyards. And that way it's just easier for us to tell who should and shouldn't be there. And then, of course, one of our favorite things is to always hand out the fun swag that you get at registration. So those are our goals pretty much summed up. Jump on ahead. Okay. So late fees. I'm going to spend a little bit of time on this one because we want to make sure that everyone can make sense of this chart. It's been shared on the conference website since it went live. So hopefully you've seen this already. Couple of important deadlines. The first one is February 26th. That is your last day to register people that you're bringing to conference. It's the last day to make payments and to request refunds for anybody that you're paying an extra registration fee for. And we'll talk more about that in just a minute. And March 2nd is your last day to purchase gala tickets prior to conference. Okay, so keep those in mind as we're kind of talking through this next little bit. So hopefully you are aware that each program is able to bring up to 10 participants. So 2 facilitators and 8 students. One of those facilitators, or one of the facilitators must be your actual facilitator. The other one can be a chaperone or another East facilitator if you have to. And then as far as students goes, again, you get 8 unless you have a leadership team member, and then you get an extra person. So those are all complimentary as long as you register them by February 26th. If you wait until after that day to register those people, you'll have to do that on site, and you're going to assess a $25 late fee per person. So I'll give you some more examples about what that means here in just a minute. So aside from those 10 people, you also have the opportunity to bring some participants in different ways to conference. The most fun one, to be quite honest, is the extra student and adult chaperone. That's a $50 fee per person, and that gets them full access. So they are able to go to everything that you and your students can go to, and they get the event t-shirt and the swag. So again, it's $50 per person prior to February 26th. If you register them after that date, you're going to still have to pay that $50, but then you're also going to have to pay a $25 late fee. Another way to bring people is just if they want to just come see the booths in the exhibit hall, they can do that free of charge. There's no pre-registration. There's no late fee. It's a really great option for your parents who maybe just want to come see the kids, a community partner who's interested in learning more about East, or maybe you're looking to recruit some new East students. This is a great free option for anybody. And then the last one is the conference gala guest. So this includes access to the exhibit hall and the Tinker Space, which is inside the exhibit hall, as well as the conference gala. That option is $15 a person, and you can purchase tickets prior to conference until March 2nd. And then after March 2nd, you can still get tickets on site. There's no late fee for that. It's still $15 per person. You just have to wait until you actually get there to purchase those. Okay. So the thing really to remember here is that quantity is the most important in regards to registering your people. So if you increase any of your quantities for the facilitator chaperones.
So why don't you start putting him on the timeline? What about the music?
Oh, just 1 second. I'm gonna try to get some people muted on here.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know. Okay, we'll try that. Sorry about that. Okay, so again, quantity is the most important. If you have any increases to your quantity in terms of facilitators, chaperones, or students, even if they're part of your complimentary 10, those registrations have to be made on site, and there is that late fee associated with it. Those fees, those late fees that have to be paid on site have to be paid in full before we can give you your name tags. And I'll kind of give you an example of that here in just a second too. Hopefully these examples paint a really clear picture for you. If you have any name changes after the deadline or during on-site registration, you're not going to incur a fee for that. So don't worry if you just have to change who is coming. It's more important the number of people that you're bringing. Okay, let me jump to some examples and see if I can make this a little bit more clear for you. Okay, so example number 1. I did not register any students prior to the deadline, but I've got 8 with me here at conference. So what's going to happen there is that facilitator is going to have to pay the full $200, $25 late fee per student before they're able to collect their name tags. So that's a pretty big chunk of money just for not having registered anyone prior to conference. So we wanted to make that clear. Next example is I registered 7 students prior to the deadline, but I brought 9 with me to conference. Okay, that one's easy. You have to pay $25 late fee for that one student who's still within your 8. And then you have to pay the $75 for that 9th student. So that 75 again is 50 for an extra student, and then 25 late fee. Okay, number 3, my school has 2 facilitators and I only registered 1 prior to conference. So even though that second facilitator is complimentary, you still have to pay a late fee. And this is pretty commonplace with conferences. We did some research on this. We checked around. There's just a lot of work that goes into us having to purchase and handle things on site at the last minute. So just know that. And then the 4th one, so Jack is on my roster, but he got sick and I had to bring John with me instead. That's super easy. Remember I said there's no fee for having to switch out your students, so we'll take care of that on site. You may just want to make sure that John has an East account. That way it'll make the registration process a lot quicker. Okay, the last one, I registered 8 students, but I brought 9 to conference and I brought a $50 check for my extra student. Well, the fee for that extra student is $50, but then there's a $25 late fee. So the total fee is $75. And unfortunately, we cannot give your student a full access level pass without the full payment. So if that happens, we can provide an exhibit hall only pass for free, but just keep in mind that that's going to limit what they're able to attend at conference. Okay, and I'm going to go into the different levels here in just a few minutes, but in the meantime, Lainey, have you seen any questions coming in?
Okay, so I have someone asking, what if I register 8 students but 2 cancel?
But 2 cancel?
Yes, ma'am.
There's nothing wrong with that. I hate that for you if you're not able to fill those 2 spots, but we're not going to charge you anything for them not being able to come. It's more important when you add people at the last minute. Is there anything else?
I think you're good.
Okay. All right. And again, feel free to keep asking those questions if you have them. We'll have some more time at the end. Trying to advance. There we go. Okay, so the next thing I want to touch on are the image release forms. And again, this information has been available on the website, but we've had a lot of questions, so I want to just clear it up. First and foremost, these are optional. So that means that if a parent or guardian does not want their student's photo taken, that student does not have to fill out a form or submit anything. Instead, we have a discrete way to identify them at conference so that they're not included in any of our publications. And I'll show you exactly what that looks like when we take a sneak peek at those name tags. Okay, so there are 2 ways for parents to complete the form. The second way is the physical copy of a form, which there's a link on this slide here, and when we post this webinar later, you'll be able to click on it if you need to. But the second way to complete that physical copy is the way we've always done it. And then the first way, or the new way, if you will, is a digital form. So the first thing that you really need to know about this is that that digital form doesn't talk to the website. So if you send that form to your kids' parents to fill out, you're going to want to make sure that you give them your email address. When they fill it out, they can put your email address in there, and then it will shoot over a copy of that form to you. Then you're still going to have to make a copy of that form, whether you print it out, you save it as a PDF, however you can make it happen. You're still going to have to make a copy of that completed form and upload it to your My Planner. So it's really no different from number 2 in terms of how you share that with us. It's really just, it's a digital option for your parents. So we tried to make it a little bit easier on them. The page number 2, the signature page, is really the most important here. So if you're having issues getting both pages uploaded, I would really just worry about that second page. Okay, there are 2 ways to submit the forms, and again, this is no different from previous years. You're able to upload it in advance on your My Planner page. We need those by February 26th at 3. And if you're not able to get those in by that date, no problem. There's no fee, no reprimand or anything like that for turning it in on site during registration. Just like I said, remember to bring a copy with you that we can keep. Okay, any questions there, Lainey?
I do have someone asking if administrators get gala tickets for free.
If they are a judge, then yes. And yeah, and they will know in advance if they're getting that ticket. Anything else?
I have a question. I have all of my digital forms. I have an email back that says image release, and I have a picture of it in the email. I don't know how to make that into a PDF, but I'm sure I can Google it. I just thought you might have a quick answer.
So there's an option in Gmail for you to print it.
Yes.
And whenever you print it, I'm able to see an option where I can save it as a PDF instead of sending it to a printer.
Okay, so like go to where I would print that email and see if it'll let me save it.
Try it that way, yeah.
Okay.
And then if not, I mean, sometimes just a right click in the email itself will let you have a save as option. Mm-hmm.
Okay, the other thing, I tried that on one of them last night, and the email doesn't show me the whole thing, all at once. So I have to make it pretty small to get the whole image release and get the child's signature and the parent's signature. Is it okay if they're sent like that and they're kind of small?
I'm sure it's okay. It's a 2-page document. So I'm trying to think. You should be able to save 2 pages in one file and upload that file, I would think.
I don't think that it sent me like the 2 pages like you would a paper copy. I think it just sent me that area where they signed.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Well, that's most important anyway. So as long as we get that page, you're good.
Okay. All right. I'll try and I'll go ahead and upload those now. And then if I need to do something else, I'll have time. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay.
Hey, Jessica, I also have someone asking if competition finalists get their gala ticket for free.
No, they do not. There is an email that went out to competition finalists that said that they get reserved seating at gala, but those tickets are not free. They're only free for the 8 students and 2 chaperones, or facilitator and chaperone that register. Okay, and you guys, I'm trying to keep everybody muted. It just works easier for us if we can try to submit all those questions and answers in the chat feature, because we get some feedback on our end when someone unmutes themselves. Okay, yeah. Oh. Okay, here we go. Okay, so these are our name tags this year. We have an amazing designer who did a great job on them, and we just wanted to kind of share a few things with you so you know what you're looking at. So again, this year, everybody gets a name tag, and we're printing them all on site, so you don't have to worry about bringing them yourselves. These are bigger than previous years, so you're going to get a bigger plastic badge holder to stick all your stuff in, which is exciting for us. The barcode's going to be printed on the name tag this year, so no more having to deal with stickers if you've come to conference before. The star that you can see right here, hopefully you can see my cursor, that is how we're going to identify those students who do not submit an image release form. So it's kind of cute, and it's not going to make them stand out in a negative way or anything like that. So again, if you have students who don't submit an image release form, it's not a big deal. They'll just get this cute little star. Okay, the most important thing about these name tags is this access level that you can see here. So you can see we've got this first one is kind of a dark blue navy color, and it says full access. So this is what you and your students, your 8 students, are gonna get when you show up. Anybody else that you've registered and paid the $50 for, they will also get one of these full access passes. And this one just basically signals that you get access into the opening plenary, to Fusion, breakout sessions, gala, closing, and you get that conference t-shirt and the swag. So this is one that most of you who are listening today will probably end up with. The second one here is the gala and exhibit hall access pass. So that basically will get you into the exhibit hall where you can see all of the booths, and then it will get you into gala. So just keep in mind, this does not cover you for opening, plenary, fusion, breakout sessions, or closing. And then this last option over here, this white one, this is an exhibit hall only access. So pretty much it is what it says it is. It only gets you into the exhibit hall, so none of the other stuff. Any questions with that?
We did get one question. Would the chaperone get full access or a different access level?
If the chaperone is registered as a chaperone, either as your second complimentary adult, or if you've paid the $50 for that chaperone, then yes, they will get the full access. That's good questions. Anything else? Okay, we're gonna keep rolling. All right, I think Melanie is gonna jump in here now and talk to you about how this registration process is gonna work on site at conference.
Okay, school registration, if you guys remember in previous years, it involved a lot of steps and a lot of paperwork. So our goal this year was to make a digital process that's just gonna be plain easier for everybody involved. We are still working out a few little kinks, but we are so very excited to share this process with you today.
You have to
Click a
roll
button?
it. Yeah, it's kind of
Okay.
finicky. There you go.
All right. Okay, so the eSchool registration process has been divided into 2 steps. So step 1, we're calling that check-in, and the whole goal of step 1 is for you as the facilitator to finalize your roster. So you're going to go online to the conference website, and we're going to demonstrate this process for you here in just a second. You're going to update your conference attendees, make sure that they're correct with who you actually brought. You're going to update the status of your image release forms, and then you're also going to update your school's emergency contact information. What's cool about this year is you can actually complete step 1 at either a kiosk when you arrive at the convention center or on any device beginning at 5 a.m. Right? You've never had that option before, so that's pretty cool. So we have 2 options for check-in for 2 reasons. First, if you guys have ever flown on an airplane, you know that you have the option of checking in early to expedite the on-site process. That is one of the prime reasons we have the 5 a.m. check-in online. We want it to be quicker and easier for you when you get to conference. Another reason is it's going to give us a chance to print several of the name tags before the school arrives, before the school starts showing up. So ideally, we have a big, huge stack of name tags printed and ready to go when you guys get there. Okay, so that's step 1, check-in. Step 2 is what we're calling registration. And the goal of step 2 basically is for you to finalize and confirm everything. You're going to provide, you're going to confirm your attendee list with a staff member. The staff will retrieve any of your image release forms that you brought with you. We're going to collect any payments that you might have incurred during the step 1 process. And remember, those are additional students, any late fees, or new gala guests. Once we complete all of that, we will begin gathering all of your cool stuff, all your conference stuff. So that's going to include things like your name tags, your name tag ribbons, the conference bag, and your t-shirts. Yep, you heard me right. You're going to get your t-shirts at registration this year instead of having to get a t-shirt ticket that you'll then take to the gear booth. When we tested this at the retreat with facilitators, we're surprised by that really positive feedback, and so we're excited to share that with you today. So you'll actually get the t-shirts that your students in the sizes that you had registered on your roster. So you want to make sure that those t-shirt sizes are correct. Okay. All right, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next screen here, and we're going to show you where registration will be. Okay. So this is a map of the convention center. It's on the website. You guys have seen this before. What's different though for day one is that school registration is going to take place here in the yellow section, which is the grand lobby. This is where we've had Tech Support Olympiad in the past. We needed to move this to the grand lobby because we really needed a lot more space for this two-step check-in process. After day one, registration will be moved back up here right outside the exhibit hall main entrance, just like it has been in the past. Okay, so day 2 and 3, registration will be right up there. Okay, I'm going to show you this next slide, and it's going to give you a detailed look at what the registration setup will look like down in the grand lobby. All right, so for step 1 check-in, you can see that it's over here on the right-hand side of the screen. If you did not complete this step earlier that morning, you're going to walk over to the right side of the diagram. We will have a table and chairs along with tall cocktail tables with computers for you to use. Okay, so there's going to be at least 6 computers on those kiosks, or those are the cocktail tables right there, and then some computers on that table. So if you did go through step 1, once you're finished with step 1, you're going to follow that arrow over into step 2, registration. Okay, so let's just back up a minute. If you've already completed step 1, you're going to use the left side and you're going to bypass step 1 altogether, and you're going to go straight in over to registration. On the registration side, you're going to have 5, or will have 5 registration counters provided. 4 on the left there are going to be dedicated to East School registration, and 1 is going to be for our exhibitors and non-East School attendees. That right side, we called it just general registration. In the past, the school registration counters were separated by school name, so it would have said A through D, E through K. This year, we have removed those letters, and so you can walk up to any of the school registration counters. We'll also have a couple of tall cocktail tables with computers across from registration for any last-minute quick changes that you have to make. That way you don't have to go all the way back to step 1. But ideally, there shouldn't be many changes at this point. Okay, and then behind the counters, that's where we're going to have your t-shirts and all the other cool handouts. We're going to collect your name tags and your ribbons and all of that good stuff. Okay, so a quick recap. So what are you going to do when you show up? If you've already completed step 1, the check-in process, you're going to go directly to step 2 on the left-hand side of the screen. If you have not completed step 1, you're going to go to Schools Not Checked In line, or complete the check-in on your online device, right? Any device online. All right, before we go to the conference website and actually walk you through step 1, does anybody have any questions about just the setup and the 2 processes?
Hey, Melanie, I have a question that's a little bit backwards, but it's regarding the name tags.
Okay.
A student who is a TSO finalist, a Tech Support Olympiad finalist, is only coming for the last date. He needs a name tag for TSO, the exhibit hall, and closing where the winner is announced. What will he need to get?
Yes, this is Jessica. We're aware of those, and I don't have a firm place or a firm plan in place for how we need to handle those 5 students, but I've got it on my radar, and I will have someone reach out to those schools ASAP. Basically, we're going to make sure that they're able to go to TSO, that they're able to go to the closing session as well, and if they win, so that they can be recognized. So all 5 of those will get to go to those, and we're not going to charge them the $50 if they're only coming on that last day. So just keep an eye out on your emails.
And then will the digital check-in be on the eastconference.org?
Yes, it will absolutely be on the conference website. So we're actually going to walk you through that process next and give you a chance to see what it will look like.
Another question, do the students walk through the check-in process with the facilitators?
That's a good question. So this year, because you're going to be walking away with all of your t-shirts and a lot of conference stuff this year, it may be handy to have a student or two with you to help carry some stuff. But facilitators, you're going to be responsible for completing the check-in process online. Okay. All right, we are going to go ahead and log into the East Conference website. Just to kind of give you a quick note here, what we're seeing today is different than what you would see right now if you log into the conference website. There's a few changes that will be made available at 5 a.m. that morning of conference. All right, so facilitators are going to use your login, and when you first get to the screen, you're going to see Start Conference Check-in, a beautiful blue link. So once you click that, if you have not started the conference check-in process, you will see a green button that says Begin Check-in. That's what you're going to click. However, just to kind of a quick note, if for some reason you started the process or you already felt like you completed it and then you had a last-minute change before you actually got to the convention center, you'll see an Update Check-in button, and you can still go back and make last-minute updates if you need to. So we're going to begin check-in. All right, the first section here is your facilitator and student list. This is the list that you've registered by February 26th, okay? I'm gonna kind of talk about a few of the buttons that you'll see here. The blue button is Change T-shirt, and really that's all that button's gonna let you do. Remember, you're gonna get a T-shirt that is associated with the size here on this website, so you wanna make sure that they're up to date. If you need to make a last minute change, let's say we're gonna change Adam's T-shirt from an XL to a large, all we're gonna do is click on this button, change the size of the shirt, and hit save. Easy as that. If you have brought an image release form for the people that have red X's here, okay, so the green check mark is going to indicate that we received it online in advance. The red X means that it was not uploaded in advance. And so if you brought that one with you, you'll just click the little button right there or put a check mark there, and that will tell us at step 2 that we need to retrieve that image release form from you, okay? The other button here is the drop transfer. So Jessica talked a little bit about this earlier, but let me explain it again. If you have a student that is no longer coming with you to conference that was on your roster, you can completely drop their registration using this red button. Transfer, what transfer is going to mean is that you're going to remove that student but change that student to another person, okay? The reason that you would want to transfer a student is it's going to retain the breakout sessions from that original student. So if you want the second student to be able to go to those same breakout sessions, transfer's the button you want to use. So for an example, Billy Bob is not going to come to conference anymore. He's sick, unfortunately. And so what we're going to do is, and we didn't bring anybody to replace Billy Bob. So what we're going to do is we're just simply going to hit that red drop button. And Billy Bob will be removed from your roster. Okay. For transferring, we're going to transfer Carrie Fisher. She's not going to be able to come to conference anymore, but we brought Freddie Forum instead. Okay, so one thing really quickly to note in here, this drop down that we just clicked, this is going to pull up a list of your entire active student list from the East website. I wanted to point this out because if you happen to have years and years of students that are inactive, right? They're no longer students in East, but they've remained active on the website. This list is going to be very long. So one of the tips we have for you is to, before you get to conference, go to the East website and deactivate is the proper word, deactivate any students that are no longer in your East classroom to make this part for you a little bit easier. All right, so again, we're going to transfer Carrie Fisher to Freddie Forum, and we're going to choose Freddie's shirt size. And then we're going to click Submit Registration. And then you should see a reflection of this change on your roster. There's Freddie Forum, and Carrie Fisher is now dropped. Okay. In a second, I will show you how to add a student. It's a little further down on the list. And so we're going to go ahead and scroll down. And I'm going to just kind of briefly talk to you about, oh, sorry, one more thing about misspellings. Look at the name Temp here. You'll see Temp is a student name and it's lowercase, okay? The way that the name appears here on this page is what's going to show up on their name tag. The way to fix any kind of capitalization needs or misspellings, or let's say you have a student who has goes by a middle name instead of their first name, and they want the middle name to be appearing on the name tag, you'll actually need to go to the East conference or the East website, excuse me, to make those edits before you get to conference. Okay, otherwise they're going to get the name tag based on what's showing right here on the roster. Okay, now we're going to look at chaperones and gala guests. The buttons are a little different here. You can select the image release forms just as you could with the facilitators and students. Edit gives you the chance to completely change the name and email address and shirt size of your chaperone. So if you have to completely change someone out, you can easily do that with the edit button, and then you would hit save. You can also drop a chaperone if they're no longer coming. And this same thing, this same process works for gala guests. All right, down here at the bottom of the page, you'll see additional registrations. You can add students here, add chaperones, and add your conference gala guests on site at conference. One thing I want to point out, this orange button, Create Student. Sometimes at the conference, we have facilitators who have brought a student to conference that do not have an East website account. If that's the case, this orange button will allow you to create an East website account and register that student for conference. So this is a lot easier than having to go to the East website and then toggle back here to the East conference website to take care of that. It'll be easy and easy for you. Easy and easy, how's that? Okay, so let's go ahead and add a student or add a couple of students because I want to show you that the late fee, we're going to add a 9th student, so that late fee will occur. So let's add Billy Bob back. We're going to select a shirt size here, and then let's add Carrie Fisher back. Okay, and then when we scroll back up, it should give us an idea here of our fees that we're going to have to pay. So one $25 late fee for that 9th student and the $50. So it should be a total of $75. That's probably one of those kinks we need to fix before we get to conference. All right, good deal. Once we have finished our conference roster and it mirrors the people that we actually brought to conference, you'll scroll down to the bottom of the page and we're going to hit this next button. The next question or the next step is to verify that your emergency contact information is correct. What hotel you're at, you can leave that blank if you're not staying at a hotel. Most importantly, we need your cell phone number and that of your chaperone so that we can make sure and get a hold of you if there is an emergency. When you're finished with this form, you'll hit confirm and you'll get a confirmation page. This will give you one last glance at your entire conference roster and your final fees, which should reflect the updated changes there. We need to fix that as well. You want to give it a glance over and make sure it looks good. If there are changes you need to make, you can go back. But if it looks good, you can hit confirm down here at the bottom right, and that will complete your online check-in process. Okay, so again, you're going to do this on any device starting at 5 a.m. or at the kiosks in step 1. Once you finish this process and you're at the convention center, you can just go directly to step 2. Okay, we're going to pause really quickly and see if we have any questions.
I do not have anything coming in.
Woo! All right. So we're going to quickly go through step 2. When you get to step 2, a staff member is going to pull up your updated roster. As I mentioned earlier, we're going to be notified if we need to collect any image release forms from you or any payments. You will receive a receipt for any payments that were processed on site. Once everything is completed, we will either print those name tags at that point or go retrieve the name tags if they were printed earlier that morning. Our ambassador team will be there on site to help collect all of the school name tags and this cover sheet that's going to print in front of your name tags. You can see the cover sheet example on the screen. This is going to tell us the exact quantity of each item that we need to pull for your school. So we will bring all of your name tags, your t-shirts, your name tag ribbons, any seating passes, and all the other goodies that we've got for you. And then we're going to ask you, the facilitator, to verify that everything was received by signing on the designated line at the bottom of this cover sheet. We will keep hold of those cover sheets and we'll just keep them on file in case there's any questions. And then that completes your registration process. If for some reason we give you a small shirt and your student needs a different size, and I just said small as an example, we will allow exchanges on day 2 and 3 only, and those exchanges will take place at the gear booth. Okay, so a quick recap. Step 1, finalize your attendees on the conference website beginning at 5 a.m. on any device or at a kiosk when you arrive on Tuesday, March 13th. Step 2, you're going to finish your registration by providing your physical image release forms, if you brought any, paying for any last-minute changes, and collecting your school's conference swag. All right, and then you're off to enjoy the conference. Are there any questions, Lainey, at this point?
Oh, man.
Okay. The last little bit here we wanted to mention is refers to the school groups. Just as a quick reminder, you may bring extra students to visit the exhibits on March 14th after 1 o'clock, so from 1 to 4, and then on Thursday, March 15th from 8:30 to 11:30. This is the same process as before, but what we wanted to point out this morning is that the check-in location is a little different. So just remember, any chaperone that brings a group of students, they need to also bring a copy of who they brought with them. If for some reason they forgot to bring a copy of the students, we will need to make a copy of your list. So we can just take a quick photo of it and that will work. Or somebody's going to have to write down all of the names on a list for us. Again, this is kind of going back to the security and safety reasons. All students are going to receive a generic visitor name tag. Okay, so we're not going to take the time to load all of the contact information for 80 students at the registration desk. It would take a long, long time to do that. So to expedite the process, we will have name tags made in advance so your students can complete the check-in process quickly and make their way to the exhibit hall. Remember that those students coming in those big groups, they also have to follow the conference dress guidelines. So that's pretty important. Make sure they're aware of that. We're going to show you a map really quickly of where this drop-off location will be. For school groups, they can drop off either at the grand lobby doors, which is right here again, where we have day 1 registration. And we've got a convention center street map here for you. It's a great little, there's an inlet right here on the screen where you can pull up a bus or a big vehicle and drop off students. And there's parking directly across the street from that. So it should be pretty convenient for you guys to drop off the students. Right inside those doors at Grand Lobby, there will be a table for this school group check-in process. We moved the check-in location because we found that these large groups cause quite a bottleneck around the registration counters outside of the exhibit hall entrance, and we thought that this would be a little bit easier for everybody. Okay. A few tips. Breakout session registration is set to go live on Monday. So it is important that your students are on your roster and registered in order to register for breakout sessions. Okay, so you want to get them registered by the deadline. We encourage you guys to deactivate any students who are no longer active students in East on your East website, on the East website, so your list is not really, really long if you're having to transfer students out at the conference. We also want to make sure that you double check student names. Is the spelling correct? The capitalization? Are there any strange characters? Sometimes the website will insert a weird character in different names. And then students who might go by a different name. You want to make sure all that's up to date. The way it appears on the school roster is how it's going to print out on the name tag. And remember, you can go to the East website account to update those. You will also be able to visit your My Planner page at any time after the registration process is complete to view your attendee t-shirt sizes to distribute them. So you don't have to remember who gets what. It'll be online and available for you. We encourage you to make sure your t-shirt sizes are accurate prior to conference. But however, if exchanges are needed, you can do that at the gear booth beginning Wednesday the 14th. Extra t-shirts, as always, will be available for sale on day 3 for $10. All right, you guys, that is what we wanted to share with you today. We hope that this webinar was helpful. If for some reason you can't stick around, and feel free to hop off the webinar. We will make this webinar available online, and we would like to hang out and answer any questions you guys have. We'll be able to hang out for the next 10 or 15 minutes or so. So, Lainey, do you guys have any questions coming in?
Not for this piece. We had some questions on the t-shirts, but I'll check with Tony on that. Melanie, the times for the project pitches have not been finalized yet, correct?
The perfect pitch.
No, I'm sorry, for their presentations, like in the booth.
No, that's true. Our goal is to get that listed and published before breakout session registration goes live on Monday, so your students can plan accordingly. We're working on it now. Good question. We hope you guys are excited about the registration changes, and we hope this new process will be smooth and easy. I would like to just ask that you give us good feedback. If there's a kink in the system on site, we will all work together to make it make it work better. And we look forward to it. Any other questions before we hop off?
Is there a training or meeting for judges when they get there?
The conference showcase judges? Yes, there will be a meeting right at 8:30. We are encouraging our judges to arrive at 8 so that if they haven't checked in to get their name tag, they can do that. And then the meeting will start at 8:30 in Horner Hall.
And I saw a question on the t-shirt size. Megan, I think the largest that they go is 4X.
Yeah, that is 4X.
Good questions, you guys.
I think
Okay.
that's all of the questions.
Well, like Melanie said, we've recorded this and we're going to post it on the website as soon as possible. I know there were several facilitators that said they couldn't be here today, but thank you for joining us live. Again, please give us some feedback on this webinar, on the system itself, and then just on Melanie and I's presentation. We really hope to we hope to do at least one more of these prior to conference, kind of a last minute, here are some things you need to remember, here are things you need to know. So keep your eyes out for that one. It should be coming along in the next week or two. So, okay, cool. Well, thank you so much. And again, just email us at any time if you have any questions. We're happy to help. And we will see you soon.